I'm not too worried about it still. I am worried about that. What is the Metal Marcher for? See, right now, I'm gonna just redirect all your questions regarding the absence of invoked Alistair and Dragon Master Magia and whatever. Just ask Vlad, okay? What is up, duelists? Welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Today, we're looking at the new selection pack in Master Duel that is also bringing along the Blue Eyes cards, along some other stuff. So we're gonna talk about that for a second, and you also see some highlight games of my first session with the Blue Eyes deck. Now, bear with me, it's the first time I'm playing the deck, and I know there's a bunch of different versions out there, so let me know what your preferred version of the Blue Eyes deck is in Master Duel and how it's been going for you. Without further ado, hope you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The first thing we're going to do is take a little look at the new pack and talk about some of the cards that are in there, because it actually does add a little bit more than just Blue Eyes to the game. Of course, Blue Eyes is the thing that everyone is the most hype about, and we will talk and play Blue Eyes today, but I just wanted to take a quick look at the newly added cards in this pack. You've got the new level 12 Synchro Monster, which is essentially an Omni Negate you can summon off of your Spirit Dragon. We've got the new Wishes for Eyes of Blue, which is the discard one, add a light tuner and a spell trap that mentions Blue Eyes from your deck to your hand, and then you can also banish it from the graveyard to equip a Blue Eyes from the extra deck to it as an equip spell, which is neat in some cases, so that is good. And then you have the new Maiden of White, which places the True Light and then resummons itself from the graveyard every time you summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And you have the new Link 1 that searches the Mausoleum of White and requires a level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster. So all kinds of good stuff for the Blue Eyes deck. You don't really play the Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon, but we're gonna take a look at Blue Eyes in a second. The thing I want to say about Blue Eyes before we even move on to it, right now the competition in Master Duel is quite strong. I mean, we're gonna see it in action, but like I think it can struggle with some of the faster decks in the format right now, but we will find out. The other decks that are in here, just for a quick mention, we have the new Tachyon support, which I actually don't think are bad cards at all. The little Cloud Dragon here is pretty custom. It's basically a Snake Eyes Poplar for Tachyon. I don't think the deck is particularly strong. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a top meta contender, but I think it is something that a lot of people will appreciate. I do think the Galaxy Eyes has a decent amount of fans out there, so like I think that's something that people are going to enjoy, and I think it is playable. I think it's a playable deck, even though it's not a top tier contender. I think for ladder in Master Duel, it's going to be just fine. And the same I think is true for the new ABC/XYZ Union support. With the new Union controller is actually pretty neat. I think personally the biggest issue with this deck is the fact that you are kind of forced to play Y and Z, which are not particularly good draws. The X cannon is pretty good, but that's, yeah. But that is also potentially a fun thing. The main cards, I think, in this pack, outside of Blue Eyes, that are meta relevant is a couple ones of these like non-archetypal cards, which, I mean, 7 Tachyon, I know, is technically an archetypal card for the Tachyon deck, but in reality, how this card has been used in the TCG so far, well, in the TCG it isn't out yet, but in the OCG, and it's about to be released in the TCG. This card is a phenomenal searcher for every kind of Xyz focused deck that has a card in with the right attributes, because the way this card works is you reveal a number monster from your extra deck between 101 and 107, and then you add a monster from your deck that has the same type or attribute and the same level as the rank, and then you lose one card from your hand and you are locked into Xyz for the rest of the turn. So it is a costly searcher, but it is a pretty good card overall that can add consistency to some decks that really want it. Of course, in TCG, OCG, it is going to be used a lot in Ryzeal at the moment, which we don't have yet, but there's even other decks that this will help just a little bit. You know, any XYZ deck can technically use this card if they have a fitting monster. Exo Sisters can search Martha with this by revealing a rank 4 light or what type is Martha? Spellcaster? I don't know. You can search like that's a relevant card at some point for sure when we get Ryzeal, but even now there's already some decks that can use it. Other than that, the Duke of Demise is actually a pretty solid card as like a super poly target potentially. It needs 2 fiends and or zombies, gives you an extra normal summon, and is a level 6. Can technically also be made with Fiendsmith, and then it also says banish it from the graveyard, target a level 4 or higher fiend or zombie, and add it to your hand from the graveyard. Overall, it's a solid card. I don't know exactly how much play it'll see immediately, but just have it on your radar if you're playing super poly and or a fiend/zombie deck that can fusion summon. It's a good card. The even bigger deal though over here, which is one that I absolutely was not expecting is they added Aerial Eater, which I saw this morning, and I thought like that was kind of crazy. When I saw this, I immediately panicked because I thought they may also put Necroquip Princess in here. They did not do that, but they did put Aerial Eater. And Aerial Eater, for those of you that don't know, is a card that has seen a lot of play in the TCG after its introduction, obviously as a card that you summon in most decks that have the Fiendsmith engine in it. Level 6 Fiend Fusion monster that requires 2 Fiends with the same attribute. If it's fusion summoned, you can send any Fiend from your deck to the graveyard. So this can help you get more Fiends into rotation in case you don't have enough light Fiends to fuse with. Like, let's say for the entire line, fusing into Desiree, of course you need 3 monsters. Fusing into Lacrima, you also need 2 monsters, but then you still need 1 more as a target for it. So that basically, Fiendsmith Lacrima and Fiendsmith Desiree require you to have 3 light Fiends for them to make sense. This one you can make if you can somehow only get to 2 of them. And it can send more Fiends from the deck to the graveyard for follow-up or for whatever purpose you want it. Like, I think this card is very, very good in Yubel. Very, very strong in something like Unchained, if that's a thing at all. And then it also has the secondary effect of, if this card's in the graveyard, banish 2 level 6 or higher Fiends with the same attribute, and then it just comes back. So like, this is a very, very good card that is pretty powerful in everything that plays Fiendsmith. The only thing is that it will take 1 more extra deck space. We'll have to wait and see which of the decks will play it. I'm pretty sure that decks like Yubel are definitely going to play this card, and some other decks might as well. So yeah, that is the main takeaway from this pack, I think. We've got some new rogue strategies. We've got Blue Eyes, which ultimately might end up being pretty good, but also might end up being a rogue deck for now until we get Primite. But that's something we're gonna find out today. All right. Well, we've drawn Blue Eyes. Looks like we're up against Tenpai on our first game. How many Spirit with Eyes of Blue are you playing? Is that the Link monster? Because if so, the answer is 1. Okay, Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Sage with Eyes of Blue, we're being met with a Mole Charmy right away. So we'll activate Maiden. We'll place True Light. We'll activate True Light to set a spell trap. We'll set the Wishes for Eyes of Blue. We'll activate Wishes for Eyes of Blue. We'll pitch that. We'll Charmy. I don't want to give him any draws. Well, this spot wouldn't even be that bad if it wasn't Tenpai, but knowing that it is Tenpai, of course, is a problem. Why not pitch Blue Eyes? Because that makes it like a little susceptible to Bestials, and I'm not gonna need the I am not gonna need the Fuvalos this game. So probably forced to do this. It's weird because I feel like if they didn't have Kaiman or Sangan summoning, why are they going for Pydra here? They could have just summoned Chandra. That was so much safer. But I guess I have to go for it. Otherwise, I guaranteed die. If they already have Kaiman and the Tenpai Pydra goes through, they just add the field spell, and then I have to ash the field spell, and then the Kaiman still destroys me. So, kind of whatever. They don't have it. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, Neo Kaiser Seahorse is a nice draw for next turn. Okay. Now, this is not main phase only. Nice, which is nice. So, let's actually special Blue Eyes, I think. Let's special Blue Eyes because that gives me back Maiden as well. And then bring back the Maiden here. It's actually unfortunate the Tenpai matchup is our first matchup because I think this deck is supposed to excel at the grind game, and Tenpai is like the least grindy deck in Yu-Gi-Oh because it just tries to kill in literally 1 turn, which is the opposite of a grind game. Okay, let's begin. I will equip. Well, they use seals now. That's not bad for me. Okay, not gonna equip. Seal is gonna summon out. I don't know why they're popping off right now, but sure. All we have to do is figure out a way to clear this board after. There's the Chundra. That's fine. So I do play Baron, yeah. I do play Baron. So I think we're going to start with doing this, because this is going to come back anyways when I special Blue Eyes with True Light. Droplet. Another Fadra from hand. So let's go ahead and Baldrake. There's Seals. This is 2 summons. I think I should just normal summon this to play around Nibiru. This also makes a Light and Dark Chaos Angel if I want to, but I think Baron is better here. Send a Blue Eyes monster or a monster that mentions it from the deck to the graveyard. So this is probably just gonna send Jet Dragon, right? I activate True Light. Special this. Maiden comes back. No longer Maidenless. We'll use this to pop the Fadra. That brings back Jet Dragon. And we win. So I think, even though this game was not the best example of it, because I feel like they could have won if they just directly summoned Chandra off of the Genroku. This is roughly the way I want to pilot this deck. The way I think this deck is the most efficient is you're not trying to create any crazy end boards. You're just trying to play the long game, because the more turns this deck gets, I think the crazier it becomes, because it's really hard to stop like the inevitable card advantage that this deck puts on, like True Light being a continuous trap card that basically gives you 1 or 2 cards every single turn. Not only on your turn, but also on your opponent's turn is pretty neat, I think. Alongside, of course, like Maiden coming back every time you do this and stuff like that. I think that's what this deck is trying to do. But yeah, I'd be more interested in playing like matchups that are more grindy than the Tenpai matchup. Is it worth normal summoning Effect Veiler to make... Yeah, probably. It makes seals. I'm not sure how much I like Fuvalos in this deck, because it's just another card that doesn't do anything when you go first, which I find very annoying. It's weird, because on the one hand, I want this deck to be 40 cards so I can draw my starters, because I'm currently just not drawing enough starters in this deck. On the other hand, it is so awkward to draw these dead draws when you go first. Maybe we just play like a 40 card version without Fuva in the main. The Invoked Engine. I do not see a point in the Invoked Engine. Adding more normal summons does not seem very smart, especially because it has more bricks as well. Oh, great. Cyber's Pile. Piri Rise Map? Yeah, maybe it's something like that. Add an AI spell trap. They added I Meet You, which means they either already have the field spell, or they're not playing around me bouncing this and then they won't have the field spell after I do that. Which is something I could try. I could also keep the bounce for later and hope they can't do enough after I do that. Because if I bounce this now and they have the field spell, it's pretty much a disaster. I think it's fine. I think there's other choke points where I can hit it, like Splash Mage or Transcode Talker or something, where it's still good enough. I don't want to risk them having the field spell. There's a good chance they didn't have it and just... But I feel like if you don't have it against the seals, you have to search the field spell with that. Dude, we're just winning off of Bestial Control. I want to play 40 cards. I know we're gonna like draw the Blue Eyes more often and draw the True Light more often and whatever, but I do want to make it 40. Piri Rise Map is another starter. I mean, technically, the thing is, if we make this deck 40, I don't think it should be that unrealistic to draw playable hands. Like, you have 3 Sage, 3 Seahorse, 3 Wishes. Maiden is also good to open. Like, you don't have that problem anymore if we make it 40 cards. Try Pure. So what does Pure mean? We just take out the Bestials, add 1 Fuva for cross out, and then have Rice Maps. I just want to like, I just want to play a 40 card version that's a little more consistent and has enough non-engine to not get comboed on. All right, hand is solid other than having Mausoleum in hand, I guess, but I'll take it. This deck is also really weak to Feather Duster, I feel like, and Lightning Storm. which is not great in the Tenpai matchup. Maybe we do need to play the Cipher Dragon, or whatever it's called. So this will just add Veiler and the Trap card, I think. I could have normal summoned Sage again. That does not seem like it does anything for me. Oh, I forgot to equip. Yeah, my bad. I think if they don't have Lightning Storm or Duster, this is as good as it gets if they're playing Tenpai, pretty much. We have Veiler Ash. Well, having the Neo Blue Eyes in the graveyard would have prevented this. I'm not too worried about it still. I am worried about that. I'll Ash it, but I'm not happy about it. I just think putting them on 3 cards in hand when I have a pop Imperm Veiler, I just can't risk them drawing Thrust. But what am I gonna do? Let them banish my only Blue Eyes? I don't, even if I read that there's Thrust, I don't think I can do that. You can roar it back? No, but it also stops this. I only play 1. Like, it disables the trap card as well. Oh, it's actual Striker. Last card in hand is Widow Anchor. Look, it's Blue Eyes. Bye-bye. Something's funny to me about cards that require you to show your opponent another card. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just like that. Okay, so how do I summon Tyrant now? First step is I equip, right? See, it's actually, it was Giga 5 hit that I didn't do it on the first turn because I need it now. So I make Tyrant. I have targeting protection from the Widow Anchor because I have the Neo Blue Eyes in the graveyard now. And then I'll attack and reset this trap card. Okay. We can beat a deck from 2019. Which is good news. Somewhat, maybe. Let's try the White Forest version. White Forest Blue Eyes. 1/1, 3 Sage, no Seahorse, 3 Maiden, 3 Wishes, 1 Ultimate. There, Rushia, no, just 3 of this. Why is there a Metal Marcher? Holy. I'm assuming this is trying to turn Blue Eyes into a more combo-oriented approach and just, you know, do the thing where instead of summoning cool mid-rangey stuff, you summon Baron. What is the Metal Marcher for? See, right now, I'm gonna just redirect all your questions regarding the absence of invoked Alistair and Dragon Master Magia and whatever. Just ask Vlad, okay? The stars align for Blue Eyes quite well in the TCG, I feel like. In Master Duel, it's rough. $60 card Rescue Ace Impulse. Sure. I think I'll maxi on their turn rather. Molcharmy Fuvalos right after. Love that for me. Sick. Yep. So when does Fire Attacker? If a card is added. Okay. Oh. Yeah, Bellstar. Oh, guess I should have maxied earlier. Now it's too late. I am thinking about, or I was thinking about making this to send to get the field spell to send another Blue Eyes from deck to graveyard. That way I can pop 2 cards with the Majesty. So I'm trying to think like giving them 1 more draw for 1 more pop, but I'm not convinced that that's correct because I think one of the most important things is them not having an out to max C, so giving them 1 more card just makes it more likely they draw a Called By or Ash, and the card is already live. So I'm not worried about making it live. If I had to make it live, I would give him a draw for it, but none of it fucking matters. We could block Called By. What? By tagging out into the Omni Negate? I guess, but I kind of want to wait and see if I can make use of the other effect first. I mean, we still have a pop, 2 effect veilers, the graveyard negation, and then we can tag out into an Omnio Black Rose Moonlight. So we still have a good amount of disruption here. But they also, for no reason, have 6 cards in hand with a Diabellstar on the board already, because we've like been Charmied and Fire Attacker with this card Diabellstar. I'm trying to play mid-range with some bricks in the deck on top in a format that has all of that. I don't know if I agree with the idea of this deck. I get it. You're turning the Blue Eyes deck more combo, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm starting with a White Forest card, I don't want to pivot into Blue Eyes in Master Duel right now. There's so many more broken things you can do if you actually resolve White Forest cards. You shouldn't be playing this in Blue Eyes. Unless this is like somehow the best way to play Blue Eyes and you really want to play Blue Eyes, but there's like the pure White Forest deck or the White Forest Azamina, whatever, like it's always going to be better than this. I don't know. My favorite version so far, the mid-range, with some minor tweaks, I think this deck is good enough to be played in rated because it has enough hand traps to live against some of the combo decks, and like the going first board is consistently solid enough, I think, to win games. I don't think the Blue Eyes Jet Dragon came up very often. I think maybe a second Blue Eyes, even though it is not great to draw, I think a second Blue Eyes might be necessary. I've been very scared of Bestials every here and like now and then, so maybe that's a thing that you might want to do, like just play 2 Blue Eyes in this one, and then I don't know what else I would do to improve it, but this has definitely been my favorite. And this is like, and this the thing is, it's a very fun deck, but I don't know if it's the right timing to really play with it in Master Duel right now. And I don't think the reason why this deck is not great right now is like this deck's fault. It's more like the environment it's being thrown into is very, very broken. Like it's really, really hard for a mid-range deck in Master Duel at the moment to compete with Tenpai sending you first and throwing Lightning Storm, Duster, Bestials, other hand traps at you and trying to kill you immediately. Then you're trying to, like, when you go first, your deck still needs to be good enough to like withstand the combos that White Forest and Snake Eyes, Azamina, Fiendsmith stuff is throwing at you. When you're going second against those decks, you also need a proper amount of hand traps and still be able to push back through their hand. It's just like a super, super difficult environment. Like trying to beat Snake Eyes, White Forest, and Tenpai at the same time, it feels like an impossible task, honestly. Like it's still possible to climb with this deck, I'm pretty sure, if you play it well. We've made some misplays here and there because it was the first time I played it. I like the grindy aspect. It's just that getting to a grind game is really difficult in Master Duel right now.